there was a next thing popping up. It was something like the last piece of our industry that needed to go to IT, and that's the studios. Up till today, we're using SDI, and I thought this is the last piece. If we move this to IP, I want to be part of it. This is why I moved to EBU, and I spent there as well 4 brilliant years, enjoying a lot of all the fuzz and the buzz around it. Got myself into SEMTI, collaborated on drafting the standard. So it's very nice. And then at a certain moment, well, you need to ask yourself the question: you stay in Switzerland, you come back. What will you do the next 5 to 10 years? And at that moment in time, they were going to build a new building at VRT, right? And that sounded very nice, like another big project. Now, you know the story. The new building got postponed a little bit, but nevertheless, this is why what we've done until now, and I believe this is why we're in this
Yeah.
this feature set here.
It's a bit funny because the webinar is all about learning new skills within the industry, and actually that's a bit your track record. So what you did is you saw an opportunity. There's something you felt like, oh, there's a gap in knowledge I have. I go back to school. I educate myself. I find ways to get the knowledge, and then go back to the industry and use that knowledge in practice. But for someone who's not into all that technical stuff, what would you use to compare it with? Because from tape, we all had, the small audio cassette tape, so we can still remember that.
Well, there's of course the organization, SEMTI. It's a Society of Motion Pictures and Television Engineers, but they produce standards. And actually, everyone who's doing live television is using a standard, and that well, we used to say it's SDI, right? So the
Yeah.
SEMTI standard I wanted to mention, that's 2110, and that's the move from the good old coaxial cable with SDI to an Ethernet cable, and it has another form of video over it. And it's actually a nice similarity here. It's a physical thing you hold, it's the tape, and you move to files, it's somewhere out there. The same thing happens with SDI to 2110. There's the coaxial cable. You have actually the video running on this wire. If you move to IP, well, you have a wire or you have a fiber, but there's maybe multiple connections. There's multiple videos, there's multiple audios, there's ancillary data, there's synchronization, there's whatever running on the same wire. So people will get lost in it as well a little bit, I think. It will be a huge change. Of course, the guys who are operating our studios on a daily basis, they're like, oh, we need to know these new things, and it won't be easy. And on the other hand, I have the colleagues from technology, and I need to explain to them, guys, it's not you cannot just buy it off the shelf. At this stage, it's still difficult, and you need to think about it. And there's a lot of theory behind it, and well, you need to get it in your fingers. You cannot expect to buy it from the local market and get it running, or think about something and then automatically it will happen. No, there's no way. So you need to try to glue those two worlds together. And I don't have the secret sauce to this. But I do believe, and this is why I love to do the work at SEMTI, I do believe that getting a good network with people who really try to understand all the deep levels of the technology and have a network with the people who operate it on a daily basis, this is really where you need to be. I also believe this as a supporting department in a public broadcaster. This is the sweet spot. Otherwise, you tend maybe to spend money on a lot of things that you don't need. And on the other hand, if you just go and run without thinking, well, you lose a lot of money as well. And I think
Yeah.
this is the sweet spot to be.